And thank you so much for your time today. Pleasure talking to you. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Gaurav. I'm working at Rails Factory as a solution architect, being associated with them for over 5 years. I think one of the topic I think that interests you is related to artificial intelligence and particularly Gen AI. So could you just talk about your experience with this and how it helps you as a developer?
Thank you so much. Last year, presented my talk on how we can do smaller machine learning solutions within Ruby. The main solutions that I deal with is related to IoT and continuous time series data. So everybody was like, you're creating so much of data. Why can't you generate any analytics over it, or you can predict something out of it? And then I was like, should we go with Python? That was the first choice. Then I was like, yeah, most of the things are in Ruby, and for that smaller part, should we go for Python? But when I started searching, because eventually everything drills down to mathematics, I thought like we can do that in Ruby. While searching, I found out few references and other things, and that when I know that we can easily do similar stuff in Ruby. And that's how I started with smaller machine learning solution with Ruby. And eventually this year, along with our innovation lab, we started with can we develop something with computer vision or any other thing, because everybody's talking about Gen AI. I started my journey in 2020. I graduated in 2020. Prior to that, in my final year, I actually worked on Gen AI, but not this extensive, because at that time it was quite a new topic. So at that time I was actually going through basic mathematics and how we can achieve certain stuff. So I tried few things like can we do it with respect to some chatbot and these things, and we found out that Llama is open source model that we can. So we use that to develop smaller base solutions, specifically focused towards specific problems, not going generalized.
I think end of the day, it's all mathematics. And just like there's a question people have, like how important is for a person to know those mathematical foundational concepts to be able to know a better developer who understands these concepts. So how do you see that mathematics part of it?
Yeah. So as you know, recently one of my colleagues has done a talk that anyone can go with the commerce background as well. So I can't say that for every sort of development you need mathematics. But what I feel even with AI as well, you can easily use those pre-trained models that you can directly utilize for your some solutions out of it. But when you go deep inside it, you want to actually fine tune it, and if you want to make it something of your own, then at that cases you have to go eventually drill down to that mathematics. And since from somebody who's my entire family get back to mathematics, because my that lineage comes from mathematics teaching and all. That's where that is close to me. That's why I feel like that's what intrigued me to AI. That is mathematics. But whenever I discuss with these people who don't have mathematical background, for them it's fine that if they don't know that intricate mathematics, but they know how to utilize that AI solutions that are in the market to solve something.
Right. Maybe I think they are more at the surface level.
Yeah, so they are more interested in utilizing that to solve some problems. And I'm somebody who kind of interact towards that, how exactly things works.
And where do you see Ruby and Ruby on Rails ecosystem? How is it placed when it comes to AI? Was it something that is dominated by Python? A lot of the core libraries like TensorFlow, PyCharm, was they're all done in Python. So where do you see Ruby?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, when I was searching for that particular, when I earlier mentioned that machine learning model, searching with what are the top 10 languages that one can use for machine learning, I found interestingly JavaScript there, but I didn't find even I found some Perl in it, like some of the other blocks, but there was no Ruby mentioned anywhere. Right. And when I discussed this with along the major RubyConf India, RubyConf Australia, wherever I gone, I tried to discover that thing, what people think about this, because and then I found out that people say that it's just that whenever we search, we found more resources of those languages. We are not able to find these resources that can help us to do similar stuff in Ruby. I found it because one of the very well-known guy, there is a GitHub username is AN there's Andrew Kane. He's done so much work in these things, with machine learning, AI-related solutions in Ruby as well as. When I gone through actual coding aspects of it, I found out that he has done everything in Ruby. And even if I go to any Python-related libraries that goes with NumPy and other things, the basic of all those things is they eventually drill down to the actual calculation to C or C. Yeah. They just have some wrappers of Python to utilize. Yes. We can go to that level, extensive to that level, but I would say let's start with something. Currently, there are few tools that you can use to solve smaller machine learning problems with Ruby, but my goal, my ambition or my dream is to be that we should say that we can develop machine learning AI-related solution. Right. I should be confident in that.
And you've also mentioned about fine-tuning these models. So I think Llama is kind of open source to is the self-hosted. Would you like to share any experience or any instance where you had to fine-tune it, and what
Yeah, so recently what happens, like everybody was too much like we will develop RAG with LangChain, we will develop these things with these things, either Ulam, RAG, LangChain and other things. But when we drill down to the LangChain as well, they were using some OpenAI for embedding creation. I said like eventually we are going to use OpenAI. And why are we going to say that LangChain is open? But then we thought like let's use Llama. But the main challenge with Llama was that it's too generalized in its own way. And we want to find some basic constructive solutions for it. So for example, like one of the base solution that we wanted was related to just to get some Q&A feedback sort of. But if we ask, like that's one of the bigger challenges that I found in while dealing with other AI related projects as well, while discussing with others, that I just see that this will be useful for us. But if somebody goes like, let's say for example, I want to develop a chatbot specific to AI, like fintech or something, but somebody just utilized the Llama model and said that we have developed a chatbot, you can ask anything. Somebody goes and asks somebody that what's the best hotels.
Say we have developed the UI.
Yeah. But they don't say that. Yes, like recently in Flash Talk, one of my colleagues said that CAP is software and AI. I really like that tagline because everybody is that. But right now that tagline again move forward to that CAP is software Gen AI. Everybody is talking about Gen AI. But if you go and drill down to the actual solution into it, when I ask somebody like, if I ask that AI, which is for fintech, that how we can travel from one place to another place, we'll answer. Yes, we'll need to check. And when I tried that thing, it was because there was not fine tuning then.
Right.
But when we were trying to develop that thing, what we did, we found out what are the data sources that we can get. We use some popular tools that can fine tune these things so that it should not say that suddenly somebody is asking that fintech model something irrelevant and it said that there's something else.
Yeah, it has to be domain specific.
Otherwise, it will be like a very generalized thing and it will result into something else.
Right. I think accuracy will also be a concern.
Yeah, so accuracy will be a huge concern in that case. I would say like more than accuracy, it will be something. But I always say that with all the AI models and whenever I discuss with any developer, accuracy can be false sense. What I would say, you have to always understand other things, precisions, recalls, and other things. And people always forget that thing. Everybody's focusing on accuracy too much. Because whenever I discuss with somebody, let's ask them like, do you understand SKU classes? Because currently your application is a SKU class concept. He said no. I mean, like our accuracy is 80%. I said, for example, somebody is detecting a cancer. I just said, okay, everybody doesn't have a cancer. Then my accuracy goes to 98%. But my main motivation is not to answer those 98% people. My main motivation is for those 2% to get something up. But to get that, we need to understand other aspects. Okay. And once you do that, then you can understand like why this fine tuning helps.
Is there any recommendation, any suggestions you have for people in terms of blogs or books that they can refer to, or any other resources who are just trying to start their career or who want to learn more about these fields? So
I have always been like fan of books. So I have seen people going ahead with that. And my juniors, like there's always in a courses. One of the biggest series of books that I like since from college is the O'Reilly one. They're concise one. Like they have some perfect examples. Like many of people I've seen, like they are using for architecturing as well. There are pretty great books, and I have personally used it for machine learning. The pretty great books that you can refer is on O'Reilly. You can assuredly say that they are one of the best one because they're using best ways to just explain simple stuff inside simple terminologies.
They had even that popular head first.
Yeah, so they have head first series as well. That's I would say like that's the greatest one for somebody in college at least. Yeah. For somebody experienced, I would say like other books are also great.
Especially those cartoons that they had, you could relate
to it. Yeah. So because you have to imagine it. Yeah, you can't find a solution otherwise. Because what I feel like if you're working in AI, you need to understand that it is similar to what your mind works, and you have to imagine all those things happening.
Neural network maps the brain out.
Unless you are able to imagine it, then you are not a MLT.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks.